Herzlich willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal Learning Made Easy from Scratch. Ich heiße Louise und ich unterrichte seit 40 Jahren Deutsch. Mein Ziel für heute ist, die Wegweiser in Deutschland durchzuführen. Die sind ja alle sehr, sehr wichtig und man muss sie eigentlich verstehen können. Lass uns anfangen. Aber bevor ich anfange, erkläre ich das alles auf Englisch. You know my name, I think already. My name is Louise and I'm from German Made Easy from Scratch. My aim for today is to go through all the signposts in Germany. They're also very important, especially when you're arriving for the first time. Auf die Plätze, fertig, los. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything at all. It's all for free. So all you have to do for me for this lesson is to give me the thumbs up, to like it, and to subscribe. So get that bell ringing. So making sure that at least I get some positive affirmation from the people who are looking at my lesson today. So we're going to go right through the various places in the town where you might have a little bit of a problem. So we'll start where? But the Flughafen and your arrival there. The first word that you're going to need is the Gepäckausgabe. Now, Gepäckausgabe means getting your luggage, let's say from that conveyor belt, from Fließband. So you have there your Gepäckausgabe. Quite often to help you there, your city or the country, wherever you're coming from is there too. But that's the Gepäckausgabe and you'll see that written up for you. When you've gone through the Gepäckausgabe and you've gotten your luggage, the next thing you're going to be going through is the Passkontrolle. Now, Kontrolle always means checking. Anything you see with the word Kontrolle, it's some form of a check. So now you have the Passkontrolle, and that's when they're checking your passport. You can also have now, of course, the COVID Passkontrolle as well, or the Impfnachweis erforderlich. That means also now seeing that written up, the Impfnachweis erforderlich. It's a requirement to have your COVID pass with you as well. That's going to be demanded of you. It's going to be required. So that's I think you'd all fairly well would know if you saw the word COVID or COVE and the pass. I think you would have a chance of understanding that. But if you saw the word Impfnachweis, now that might be different. The Impfnachweis, and that's erforderlich, that's required. The Impfnachweis erforderlich. Now you might see that in restaurants or hotels or at the train stations, at the airports. You wouldn't know where you'd see it nowadays. So be wary. I think if you saw the word COVID pass, fine. I think you'd get that. But the Impfnachweis, now that might be a bit different, and erforderlich, when it's required. So then you're arrived in the airport, and that's most of the vocabulary associated with the actual arrival. Now when you're returning, most of the vocabulary you would need there, again, the Passkontrolle is there again, but you're also, instead of the Gepäckausgabe, would be the Gepäckaufgabe. Now when you're handing in your luggage, and now that's Gepäckaufgabe. Okay, and another word there I saw with Lufthansa, they had the word Überholspur. Now the Überholspur, that is like we call it the drag and drop, the Überholspur, where you have already checked in online at home and you don't have to queue up. That's called an Überholspur. And you see that, I've seen that with Lufthansa a lot. Okay, so that's your Gepäckaufgabe, where you're handing in your luggage, and then you have the Überholspur. So that's really what you need there. Also, Sicherheitskontrolle, I don't know whether I gave you that before. The Sicherheitskontrolle, again, is the security control, the Sicherheitskontrolle. And remember, the Kontrolle was the check, and the Sicherheitskontrolle, that's security check when you're going through security. Sicherheit, and Sicherheitskontrolle, there's a full word there. I keep practicing that word, and then it won't be any problem to you at all. Another thing that if you're an arrival, both arriving maybe or even leaving with you, it's the Geldwechsel. Now if you're not from Europe, you'll have to go to the Geldwechsel if you haven't done this before you came or before you arrived. So the Geldwechsel is where you change your money. It's an area where you can change your money, the Geldwechsel. Another thing there you're going to need on your arrival is depending on what your mode of transport is going to be. So for example, the signpost that says Autovermietung, that's your car hire, your Autovermietung, your car hire. That's simple enough because usually you'll have the name of some of the companies who hire cars right beside it. But I'm not going to advertise them on this forum, not my job. But Autovermietung is what you have there. Right, so that's for hiring your car. But if you don't want to hire a car, you could see a sign for zu den Bussen, to the buses, or you could do a sign for zu den Straßenbahnen, for going to the trams. Now, the sign is different for the Straßenbahn. Obviously, you see a bit of an electric line going up as well that you won't have for the Bussen. Right, so that's zu den Bussen, zu den Straßenbahnen, and you have your Autovermietung. So that's that. Also, zur Stadtmitte, you might see that sign as well in the airport. Zur Stadtmitte is to the city centre or the town centre. The next one, when maybe you've gotten as far as the Bahnhof. Now, a Bahnhof can be tricky. Now, the reason why I'm saying that Bahnhof can be tricky because there could be several Bahnhöfe in the town. So you have to be particular which Bahnhof you're going to. Now, if you want to go to the Hauptbahnhof, that's your main train station. Now, that's important, especially for people who want to go back from the city centre to a train station to bring them back to the airport. You have to really always nearly go to the Hauptbahnhof, and that's the main train station. Don't mix up, because a town could have several Bahnhöfe and also a Busbahnhof, a bus station. So make sure that if you're looking or asking how to get somewhere, that's going to be your Hauptbahnhof, who will bring you back the airport if that's what you need to do. So if you're at the Hauptbahnhof, or in fact at any Bahnhof, you're going to need to buy tickets, and they're called either Fahrkarten or Fahrscheine. Nowadays, some people buy these online, that's not a problem, but if you haven't, you'll be looking out for an automat, and you'll see above that on a Wegweiser, you have the Fahrkarten automat or a Fahrschein automat. You'll see that there. Now, in the very larger train stations, you could have a Fahrkarten Schalter. Now, the Schalter being the office and you'll have a person to deal with. But now it's nearly everything is done with an automat. So the Fahrkarten automat or Fahrkarten automaten. The next sign you're going to see is zu den Zügen, to the trains. Zu den Zügen, to the trains, or zu den Gleisen, to the platforms, zu den Gleisen. So you have to know what that means. So zu den Zügen is to the trains, and zu den Gleisen is to the platforms. So that gets you around the train station to a large extent. Well, many other signs, but they're the most important ones that you're going to need. Maybe for those people who are driving along and they're out their Autobahn, remember that an Ausfahrt is an exit. So the Ausfahrt, you'll see the word Ausfahrt for an exit, and an Einfahrt is an entrance. So you have Aus and Ein. So you have your Ausfahrt, your exit, your Einfahrt, your entrance. Another thing you have to be watching out is a Verkehrsstau. That really annoys me sometimes when I see the big sign up for a Verkehrsstau. I've often missed my flight home because of big and very long 25 Kilometer Verkehrsstau. They had a 25 meter length of a traffic jam. So be watching out for that. And if you could even hear it on the radio, but these Verkehrsstaus, if you're good enough to listen to the radio, the Verkehrsstau, or even know the word Verkehrsstau and know the word for the numbers up to 100, that could give you an indication that you should need to be veering off and going somewhere else and trying to get to the airport in a different way. So the Verkehrsstau is very important for those people who need to get to an airport and knowing that information. Also, watch out for glatt ice, which we call in English black ice. So it's ice that can cause a skid. On to the Stadtmitte is our next piece. And of course, in the Stadtmitte, in the town centre, You've also to have a Fußgängerzone, and you'll see that sign up, and it's usually, you'll see people, maybe two people, sign with people walking, so the Fußgängerzone, and be careful that you can't drive down that. So if you're in the car, so the Fußgängerzone. Sometimes they don't have the name, they just have the picture. That might be helpful too, but quite often in very larger towns they'll have the word Fußgängerzone, and that really means the pedestrian zone. You can only for walkers. There's another one, kein Eingang, no entrance. Kein Ausgang, no exit. And if you're in the car, it could be keine Einfahrt, no entrance, keine Ausfahrt, no exit. Very important if you're in a park house. Very important. Knowing was when you see the word kein, it means you can't do it. So you have your keine Einfahrt, no entrance, keine Ausfahrt, no exit. Another one is kein Durchgang. If you're walking there, you can't go through this area. And if you're in your car, keine Durchfahrt. Anything with Fahrt on it means that it's going to be with your car, and anything with the Gang on it, it's going to be for walkers. And then you have kein in front of those. Anything with kein, it means you can't do it. Another one is with bitte. This is when they're being very polite. Bitte läuten. Please ring the bell. Bitte läuten. Or bitte klingeln. Please ring. So you have any of those, bitte klingeln or bitte läuten. And then other bittes could be bitte nicht rauchen, please don't smoke, bitte nicht rauchen. People do not want people smoking in their houses nowadays, but people are getting more included into that. And another one you see a signpost quite often around the town is bitte den Rasen nicht betreten, and don't walk on the grass. Another set of ones that I have for you here are with the word Ruhe. Ruhe normally means quiet. But if you see the word Ruhetag on the door of a shop and a day, that could, for example, Montag, Ruhetag. That means that Monday is the day off and they're not open. Ruhe has, in front of Tag, means that the shop is shut that day. Another thing then you have is Nachtruhe. And Nachtruhe is when you have to be quiet after a certain time, like no loud noises after 10 o'clock. So that's Nachtruhe. And you also have Mittagsruhe. Now you can't be mowing your lawn at midday when people are at rest during the lunch break. So that's Mittagsruhe. You have your Nachtruhe, you have your Mittagsruhe, and you have your Ruhetag. So the next one is with your Achtung or Vorsicht. Now Achtung or Vorsicht is beware or be careful. So sometimes you'll see on a house gate or at the door, Achtung, bissiger Hund. Achtung, bissiger Hund. And that means beware of the dog. Or Vorsicht or Achtung, Schulkinder or Kinderspielplatz. So if you see Achtung or Vorsicht, that means you have to be careful. Then you could say auf eigene Gefahr, for example, at your own risk. For example, Betreten der Baustelle auf eigene Gefahr. That means you enter this building site at your own risk. So auf eigene Gefahr. Okay, so we've got a good bit done so far, and now we have to think about the words with frei. Frei, so for example, Einfahrt frei halten. That could mean the entrance, keep that free. In other words, don't park in front of this entrance. So Einfahrt frei halten. Another word that you could have, which would be a nice word to have, would be gebührenfrei. And that means you don't have to pay a fee. Gebührenfrei. You don't have to pay a fee. And then another word, which is an important one, is zimmerfrei. It doesn't mean that you don't have to pay. Zimmerfrei means that the rooms are available to let, that you can get a room to stay there. Zimmerfrei. Another one is Anliegerfrei, and Anliegerfrei means that residents only can park here. Anliegerfrei. We're nearly there for the moment. Now, have I anything else that I would like to tell you? Oh yes, auf dem Postamt, for example, you have the word Briefeinwurf. Now, a Briefeinwurf is where you put in your letters to post. That's a Briefeinwurf. But sometimes you have kein Briefeinwurf, which means that you can't put your letters in there. So we watch out for that word, kein. Also, in front of buildings, sometimes where the opening times are, or the delivery times or whatever, they have the days of the week, but they're abbreviated. So you have, for example, Montag will be abbreviated to Mo or Mo. Dienstag will be abbreviated to Die. Mittwoch will be abbreviated to Mi. Donnerstag will be abbreviated to Do. Freitag will be abbreviated to Frei. Samstag will be abbreviated to Sam or Sa. And then Sonntag will be abbreviated to So or Son. Then you have the word Feiertag, and a Feiertag is a public holiday. And then you have the word Werktag, which is the weekdays, and also can be seen as Werktags, weekdays, as in all weekdays, or just the word Werktag is with the capital W. So then they have the word täglich, daily, and that can be often just abbreviated to Tag with a GL at the end. Das wäre es für heute. That's it for today. Leider muss ich Schluss machen. Unfortunately, I have to end up here. Aber ich möchte mich wie immer bei meiner Nichte Zoe bedanken. I'd like to thank Zoe, my niece. Sie ist meine Cutterin, she is my editor und sie macht wirklich eine tolle Arbeit für euch. And she really does a great job for you. Bis zum nächsten Mal bei German Made Easy from Scratch.